What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the latest episode of the War Room podcast presented by the Sideline Journal. I'm your host, Mason Rather, and joining me today is my co-host, Liam Carr.
Mason, what is going on in the NFL right now? It feels like it's on fire with the news that dropped tonight.
Yeah, nobody's talking about, the Super Bowl matchup coming up and the AFC NFC Championship game right now. Everybody's talking about all these crazy coaching moves, from Joe Brady getting promoted to no OC wanting to take the Eagles job to Aaron Glenn firing all of his staff. But then to end the night tonight, on this Tuesday night, the
Just
best
chilling.
NFL head coach in history is denied the Hall of Fame. You got to be
Yeah.
kidding me.
What are we doing? What is the NFL Hall of Fame doing? Did it lose credibility?
I think it did, and that's what we're going to unpack in this episode of the War Room, because it is officially open. Yeah. This is the War Room presented by the Sideline Journal, where the film doesn't lie. Let's get to work. Yeah, so Liam, 6-time Super Bowl champion as a head coach, 2-time Super Bowl champion as a coordinator, Hall of Fame level resume as a GM. Bill Belichick in the year 2026 was denied entry into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. What are we doing?
I was there chilling, eating dinner. I get up, look at my phone, and I see like 1,000 tweets about Bill Belichick, and I thought it was just a joke, or I thought it was just something that he did with his 20-year-old girlfriend. But it's so much worse. Denied the first ballot Hall of Fame recognition. What are we doing? I don't personally like the guy, but he's an 8-time Super Bowl winning head coach. What more could he have done to get in, Mason? Was he supposed to win a ninth? Was he supposed to have more Hall of Fame players? His entire resume just speaks to me as one of the greatest, and the Hall of Fame denies it. I don't understand it. Crazy.
Literally, the picture alone of him at the NFL Honors Awards rocking
With
8
his
rings on his
Yeah.
hands, literally doing this. That's the resume. That's all you need to see. But I mean, it just screams to me the state of the league and the state of this game that we're all a part of. I mean, we're watching Shador Sanders get a Pro Bowl nomination and Bill
Yeah.
Belichick not being put in the Hall of Fame. That just tells you that everybody out there is hunting for clicks on Twitter, hunting for clicks on social media, and they're forgetting what the game of football is. I mean, Bill Belichick is the game of football. This is someone that's been a part of the game since it started, all the way as a kid in the 60s when his father was the head coach at Navy. This
Yeah.
guy invented match coverage. That's cover 4 and cover 6, and for zone principles to turn into man at certain leverage angles and distances. This guy invented it. That's what every modern defense runs. There's been nobody that's been a bigger proponent for the Hall of Fame than Bill Belichick. I mean, the guy, for the 100-year anniversary for the NFL as an active head coach, what did the NFL do? They hired him through Canton as the NFL historian. I mean, this guy, it doesn't get more Hall of Fame than Bill Belichick. And
He is the NFL Hall of Fame. He knows it all.
as much as we hate it, I mean, he's literally the emperor from the Galactic Empire at the Patriots. I mean, he terrorized a
Yeah.
generation for 20 years.
Yeah, and that's one reason why I don't like him. But I respect him. I mean, his teams have always had what? Extreme discipline, which is severely lacking in the NFL today. But he just always had that. And he was a GM practically for the Patriots as well. Talent evaluator, just a Thomas Edison of the playbook, inventing whatever. Um, yeah, just those voters. We need to change something with the NFL. This is just something that we need to keep on with this. Don't just let it be a Twitter headline blow over. Whoopsie, it'll happen tomorrow. This is honestly ridiculous. We need to have more transparency with the voters. Like, who are they? What did they do? Why? To all of this, because this is the most outrageous news I've heard maybe this year, denying this guy the first ballot Hall of Fame. Now, Mason, I've heard that the guy that was kind of leading this, Don P, I forget his name, Dan, but I I thought I heard something about how they denied him this year because of Spygate, and so they'll just do it next year.
Yeah, so the name you're looking for is Bill Polian. Bill Polian
Totally way off.
was the president of like three NFL organizations, but he's most famous for his time and run with the Indianapolis Colts and Peyton Manning. Okay, talk about somebody that continuously lost to Bill Belichick constantly during his career as a GM. Somebody who was out of the league in 2013 and watched Bill Belichick win two more Super Bowls, or three more Super Bowls, I think, after Spygate. Spygate is like Deflategate. It's Roger Goodell flexing his muscle on 32 NFL organizations saying, hey, I have power over you. Every single coach prior to that moment, that memorandum of understanding that went out over Spygate operated that way because there wasn't written rules over it. And Bill Belichick, who's been in the NFL since the 80s, just said, hey, I'm going to operate the way I've always operated. Okay, yeah, fine. Slap him for cheating, and all he did is what? He went on to win two more Super Bowls. So to deny him the Hall of Fame based off of that, if he wanted to discredit everything he ever did up until that point, he still has a Hall of Fame resume after that point. So there's no realm of existence where Bill Belichick's not a first round Hall of Fame, except the world that we're living in today, I guess. But I mean, the fact that there are 11 people on a committee of 50 that sat there and voted no, Bill Belichick, you're not getting in the Hall of Fame, screams just incompetence to the highest level.
Yeah, and even if he didn't have success, look at how long he coached in the league. I feel like that, let alone just his ability to stay with it for so long after so many things changed and he was able to adapt. Take away the Super Bowl rings. I know that's his career because he was in it so often, but just him lasting that long in the NFL should be something noteworthy to recognize. But, he did that and he did it all with 8 rings.
Yeah,
I don't know
well,
how else we can put it.
like you said, the length in which he did it. We've seen great coaches in dynasties not last near as long. We just watched the Chiefs dynasty kind of end after what, 7 years? The Cowboys haven't been back since the 90s. The Steelers, they've had their runs, but it hasn't been for 20 years of dominance. The 49ers in their heyday, they lasted about 8 to 10 years. There has never been a run of success ever like Bill Belichick had of 20 years, 6 Super Bowls. And yes, he had the greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady doing it with them. But there is no great coach in NFL history that ever won anything without a great quarterback. He still won it anyways. So that's really all I got to say on it. I think that it's just insane
Yeah,
to me, to be
it's just
honest.
hot right now because we found out about this about an hour ago, an hour and a half ago. So
Y'all are getting coach mode me full go. 'Cause it's just like I'm a little like anybody that's around a game of football just you can't believe it. It's just crazy. It's unfathomable thing. But you drop your take down below. I want y'all to sound off and let us know of what you think about this situation, whether or not Bill Belichick deserves to not be in the Hall of Fame because of maybe you don't like the fact he has a 25-year-old girlfriend and he's not the greatest college football coach ever. Drop your take below. We'd love to hear it.
maybe.
But speaking of coaching, Liam, kind of taking an eye maybe to a lot of the coaching carousel that's happening around the league now. Somebody's cooking down in Nashville. Don't you feel pretty good about that coaching staff they're forming in Tennessee?
Yeah, Robert Saleh was you know, uh, the head coach of the Tennessee Titans that came out this week, and I'm a huge fan of that. He's a defensive-minded coach. Everywhere he's been, the defense has always been really good. But, New York Jets, a lot of people are going to point at that and say that team was pretty bad. And now that it's been a while and we were able to digest some things from the New York Jets and some things have came out about that Jets team, what he did there, I don't want to say incredible because the record just wasn't good and just let's think back to the time, it was just not good. But hearing everything now, he did a fantastic job with those Jets. I mean, having an owner like that just breathing down your neck and having everything dysfunctional from parts of the roster with Hassan Reddick to the owner's son coming in and handing out game balls after a big win. What kind of culture is that? And so for me, looking back at Robert Saleh's stint as a head coach for the Jets, I think he did pretty good regarding the circumstances. So it goes back to San Francisco, and that defense went through. They went through it this year with all the injuries. I mean, Nick Bosa and then Fred Warner going out. Imagine the top two defensive players for any team around the league losing them.
I mean, they
Okay,
literally
and
have the EMF zapper literally taking Achilles, and he overcame that.
we're finding out about that. We're finding out. And so, just to finish up with Bob Saleh, um, I think this is going to be a great new start for him and for the Tennessee Titans. Um, I think they got great foundation. It's going to be a while, Mason, and we'll talk about that. It's going to be a while. I'm not thinking next year, but with the foundations that they have, especially with Tavondre Sweat building in the trenches, which is what we know is how you build a football team. Give them one or two drafts, give them some free agency. They got a good amount of cap space. They can make some things work. And then, I think in the fall of 2028, the start of the 2028 season, I know that's a little ways away. It's just 2 years though. Tennessee Titans, that AFC South is going to be probably fun to watch, especially with the development of Cam Ward with the new offensive coordinator, Mason, who you're a fan of. Do you want to take it from there?
Brian Daboll. So, I mean, going back to what you said about Robert Saleh as a head coach, they had Mike Vrabel, who now we know is a top 5 NFL head coach. He's taken his team to the Super Bowl. And they stupidly got rid of him, hired an awful coach, Brian Callahan, and now he's out the door and gone. I think that they've made the best replacement they possibly can with Robert
Yeah.
Saleh. The dude has proven that he is a defensive mastermind in this league, and I think it's great. He's also going to actually call defensive plays as the defensive coordinator or as the head coach for the Tennessee Titans. But Brian Daboll, what a home run hire as your
Yeah.
OC. I mean,
Fantastic.
you can't do better. Legitimately, this guy made Josh Allen into the quarterback that he is today. He was the guy that developed him. Brian Daboll, everyone kind of forgets because, he was over with the Giants in roster purgatory land, and there was no way he could go get the top quarterbacks in the 24 draft, Drake May, Jane Daniels, Caleb Williams. He couldn't get them. And then in next year's draft, everyone forgets that Brian Daboll tried to trade up for Cam Ward. He loved Cam
Yeah.
Ward. He wanted to coach Cam Ward. But since he couldn't, obviously the man has eyes for talent because then he slammed the table for Jackson Dart. And look at
Yeah.
how he developed Jackson Dart. This man is proven with the way that he coaches young quarterbacks, he is going to put them in a position to realize their talent. And that's exactly what Cam Ward needs. Cam Ward just needs coaching. He needs direction. He oozes raw talent. He oozes arm strength. He's shown leadership in an awful situation. He just needs somebody to develop him. And I think Brian Daboll is the guy to do it. They're armed with the 4th overall pick. I don't know how the draft board's going to shake out, but they're probably going to have their pick of offensive players if they want to. They can go out and they can get a number 1 wideout and a Jordan Tyson or a Carnell Tate, or maybe they decide the O-line is what needs to get addressed and they get a Spencer Fano or Francis Maui Noah. Or maybe they go build on Robert Saleh's defensive line through the trenches and they get a Ruben Bain from Miami. But I mean, the Tennessee Titans and the hiring they've done with these coaches, they're primed for improvement. And I mean, they went and stole my guy from Dallas, Andrew Whitecotton, to be their D line coach. And I mean, you see the
It sounds
recipe for
yeah.
success. You see the foundation. But like you said, not next year, because there's a reason they
Yeah.
have the most money available in free agency this offseason. They have over $100 million. The roster is not very good.
Yeah, and having 100, I saw that number today. That is insane to have in the NFL. Who are they paying? And so yeah,
Nobody.
they just don't have that roster. But yeah, Daboll being the offensive coordinator, I'm surprised. I'm kind of shocked, but I am so hyped for it because I mean, looking at his coaching career, he's been around great guys. Started out at Michigan State under and with Nick Saban, then goes to the Patriots where it was with Belichick and Josh McDaniels. Okay,
Yeah.
goes to New York and he was there for the stint with Brett Favre. Goes through some trouble with the Cleveland Browns and Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs. Goes back to New England. All right, was there with Gronkowski when he was in the tight ends coach. That goes back to Bama with Nick Saban. They win a championship. Goes to Buffalo Bills, and Mason, you already brought this up, but he was there for the Josh Allen kind of creation. Okay, and many were saying that Josh Allen was a project quarterback. What do we say about Cam Ward? A
Project quarterback.
project quarterback. And he showed, look, dude, I'm hyped on Cam Ward. Go back and watch the tape. I know it wasn't pretty. The Tennessee Titans were not pretty this year, and they probably aren't going to be pretty next year. But Cam Ward is fun to watch. He's a project quarterback through and through. He has the arm talent. He has the playmaking ability. He needs some help. And Brian Daboll being the offensive coordinator, home run, dude. It's insane. Love what the Tennessee Titans are doing. I could talk about this all day. It's gonna be a while, Mason, but Dayball was gonna be the Bills coach, I thought.
Yeah, and so that's how every single coaching move in this league works. Is that if one move happens, it's because the other move happened over here. And the reason the Titans were blessed with this is because the Brandon Bean Bills made the dumbest decision yet, and they decided to promote their young second year OC to be a first time head coach when they're in the middle of the Super Bowl window instead of the guy that was in the building that has head coaching experience and wanted to be there. I mean, I don't know, man. Joe Brady being promoted to be the head coach, I mean, it's not terrible. They'll win 10 games, probably. Josh Allen will put up good stats. James Cook will run the football. They'll make the playoffs. They won't win a Super Bowl. They'll not win a Super Bowl now with Josh Allen as their
That's
quarterback
depressing.
and Joe Brady. Like, it won't happen because ultimately Joe Brady's skill set that made him elite is play calling. And he calls it from the booth. It was only his second year really being a full-time OC. You're now going to make him have to rehire a staff, figure out in-game clock management for the first time ever with all the pressure in the world to win, and then call
Yeah,
plays on top of it. To me, it's just a recipe for middling results.
yeah. I'm pretty dumbfounded by this. We thought that Brian Daboll was gonna be the home run hit with the Bills. Bring him back with Josh Allen, familiar face in the locker room, a guy that's known to have a pretty good culture. Um, yeah, threw that out for some reason. They just wanted Joe Barry, and I hate this because um, I thought the owner and Brandon and Bean wanted to they didn't like the Sean McDermott culture. They wanted something new. The locker room needed something new, and they go with the guy that was already there. To me, when they had that just makes that whole press conference make me so much angrier
Yeah, so
because they were just lying the entire time.
press conference, right? Literally, they talk about how, oh, it's not Brandon Bean's fault. The coaches, they wanted Keon Coleman. Well, he just hired and promoted the coach that
And
wanted him, and you're dogging on that player. That's the offensive coordinator. You don't think that he pushed for that? You're going to try to blame the defensive minded head coach? That's crazy. Like, I it makes no sense to me. We tweeted out on Twitter. I'll take ownership. I was the one that tweeted it out. Brandon Bean has his lapdog, and why maybe I can speak on this a little bit better than other people is I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I watched this for 9 years with Clapp and Jason Garrett. We go 8-8 every year, and it's because he did nothing better than the status quo. And the status quo has been at least making the playoffs, and it's because they have the best player in football. But I, I just don't see them getting anything better. I see them getting worse from this. So
I hate it. L hire, Emmanuel Ho
yeah,
liked it, so that's a terrible hire.
the same man who
And
told everybody that Tua Tagovailoa is a better quarterback than Justin Herbert. So yeah, great company to be in. So
yeah,
y'all
just
drop
not a
Who knows? Y'all drop your take. We want to hear it in the comments, or add us at Twitter. That'd be even better. So that way we can live tweet at you and create, a Twitter controversy that started from the Sideline Journal about what you think about the Bills hire. Bills Mafia, we want to hear from you. You let us know. But staying in the AFC East, maybe on the opposite end of being good, and we mentioned them earlier, the New York Jets and their head coach, Aaron Glenn, second year head coach, has now fired his offensive coordinator, his defensive coordinator, his quarterbacks coach, his linebackers coach, his corners coach, and his defensive line coach. Who else is left?
I don't know. He's gonna find out and fire him. This just doesn't make any sense to me. I liked Aaron Glenn when he was the defensive coordinator with the Detroit Lions. Thought he was really good. Feared playing the Lions. I mean, they had our number, the Packers, and so when he went to the Jets, I was like, well, that's a great hire because he's such a good defensive coach. He'll be fine there. It was a disaster last year, and listening to former players talk nowadays, I never really thought that having the locker room and the culture would be a huge thing, really important thing. They play on the field, they're not in the locker room, right? And so apparently, though, with these former players talking, they're like, yeah, the head coach setting the culture, setting the tone, locker room motivation, it means a lot. It's a huge thing. And so Aaron Glenn comes to the New York Jets, hires all these guys, terrible year, and he fires all those guys. He hasn't set a culture in place yet. Why do these players feel the need to really respect? I mean, that just might be that's making it so much harder on Aaron Glenn really to start the year entirely fresh. I mean, it's getting kind of late, honestly, to be doing this, firing your entire staff. This should have been done after week 18 was finished. This should have been done a while ago. Maybe during the season when you realize we have 0 interceptions, something's got to change. And so, Aaron Glenn, I don't like what he's doing with the Jets. This just speaks volumes on anybody that's played on the Jets for the past 5 years or coached the Jets that it's terrible in that building.
It's a run for who is the worst organization ever. The Cleveland Browns since 1998 or the New York Jets since 1975. Like, legitimately, who's worse? And I mean, what's the point of keeping Aaron Glenn at this point?
Yeah.
And I'll eat my crow. I thought I was a big proponent, big cheerleader of this hire. Former DB that played for him, homecoming guy, went and had a great run with the Lions. You thought it made all the sense in the world. He was going to be a culture setter, a tone setter.
Yeah.
They're going to play good defense. And instead, there's been no culture. The defense was historically awful. The one bright spot, which was the offensive line and play calling, the defensive-minded head coach, were the one that wanted Justin Fields to be the quarterback. You, Aaron Glenn, were the one that wanted that. And that makes your offense one of the worst ever. Instead of taking any accountability, which is the culture you're trying to build, you just fire everybody and say, oh, I'm not accountable. I really don't know why he's still the head coach. Like, this is Urban Meyer, Hugh Jackson level of bad. What does he actually do?
Woody Allen doesn't know what to do.
No, and now I'm hearing that they're going to go get Frank Reich's corpse out of retirement to go be the OC.
The NFL should fine the Jets for every year that they do this because it's just malpractice to guys like Sauce Gardner and Quentin Williams and Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. I mean, they have talent. They had talent. And now look at their linemen. Like you said, that's like one of their shining
They have such a good young offensive line. Like, Armand Membu should be the offensive rookie of the year for what he did at right tackle. They have the top
for the Jets.
for the New York Jets with Justin Fields back there at quarterback. I mean,
yeah.
Joe Tippmann is a top 10 center. Olu Fashanu was a top 10 pick 2 years ago and is a really young good tackle. Great. You still got Elijah Vera Tucker existing. Like, they've got the infrastructure in place, at least on the offensive line, to make it work. You've got 5 first-round picks. But I don't think it's ever been more hopeless as a Jets fan. So, I don't know. It just blows my mind, man. It just blows my mind.
Yeah. Hey, now, let's maybe talk about something positive that we might like. The Los Angeles Chargers, after kind of confirmed that they're going to get McDaniel, and then he was kind of leaving it open, but then they got him. I think was it yesterday or maybe today? They finally announced it. Yeah, it's official. We got Mike McDaniel, Mason, offensive coordinator for the Chargers. That's a little bit different than head coach, but you seem to like it. I'm still unsure on this. I mean, I thought that he was going to be a great fit with the Detroit Lions with that offense. I mean, Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jared Goff plays smart, and he's a way better Tua Tagovailoa. So I thought the Lions, that was going to be a great fit for him, but Dan Campbell says not a great fit. He moves on to the Chargers with Harbaugh now, Mason. Why is this a good fit?
Yeah, it just makes a lot of sense, at least for the dynamics of both of these offenses. So, I mean, great for Mike McDaniel. He gets to stay in warm, sunny California. He gets to have all the pressure off of having to coach the worst physically gifted quarterback to ever be a starting quarterback in the National
Whoa,
Football League.
take it easy.
This is post concussion Tua I'm talking about. Post
Okay.
CTE Tua, and he gets to go coach a very gifted quarterback in Justin Herbert. He's got two All Pro tackles in Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater. He's got Lad McConkey, Rondé Gadsden, Amarion Hampton. He's got Jim Harbaugh, who has a career winning percentage of 6.642 as a head coach in the league. And it just makes all the sense in the world to me because it's like Mike McDaniel now finally gets to only focus on one thing, which is how do I make Justin Herbert play to his potential? And
Mhm.
that is exactly what he's capable of doing. I mean, he showed it in 2023 with the Dolphins when he had all of the ingredients in the kitchen to cook. They were number one explosive play percentage. Their and it wasn't just pass; it was explosive runs too. He did it through creative pre-snap, post-snap motion. He did it through very complicated vertical choice routes where he was attacking space and grass 15 to 25 yards down the field. He had him playing on 3, 5, 7 quick drops, step drops with the quarterback, and it was almost like poetry in motion. And he's got all the ingredients to be able to do that again in with the Chargers because why he was able to do that with the Dolphins 2023 is he had a healthy Tyreek Hill, sure. But the reason he was able to is Teron Armstead turned in the final all pro level year at left tackle that he had in his career that year. They had the protection to do it. And that's why it makes all the sense for the Chargers that he's going to be the OC and why I think it's going to work out. Why everyone maybe doesn't understand why it wouldn't be a great fit for the Lions is not all offensive scheme is the same, which you know that. Anybody knows that. There's different ways you can attack the field. I mean, in high school, you got the wishbone, you got the flexbone, you got empty, you got triple option, you've got traditional pro style schemes. And in the NFL, it's a little more nuanced. A lot of it's blended and married, but the Lions' way of doing offense comes from a power run football, Marty Schottenheimer, Sean Payton, old West Coast principles. And Mike McDaniel comes from the Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan zone spread go attack grass offense. And so I just look at it as why it was a good fit is their schemes were completely different. And say what you want, Dan Campbell is the architect of the Lions offense. So that's why I think it didn't happen that way. But I love it for the Chargers.
Yeah, as a Chargers fan, this is probably super exciting after such an abysmal offensive year. Now, their linemen, uh, that was struggling. I mean, in the offseason, they signed, I forget who it was, but to like some big contract, and a week later, tears his ACL. Joe Alt, who is one of the brighter stars of the young linemen, uh, you know, hurts, gets banged up early in the season and just can't finish it. And then, by week 15, we were watching on a primetime game the on Amazon them ranking the linemen out of PFF, their rankings, and it was like 34 out of 34, 65 out of 65, 31 out of 31. Yeah, they ended the season on a tough note, and so as a Chargers fan, let's get healthy. Mike McDaniel's going to do his thing. We're going to unlock Justin Herbert. That's why, to me, I don't understand it, Mason, but you did a great job explaining it. But the fun part and exciting part for me as a fan of just football and then of Justin Herbert is he's gonna get unlocked. I mean, this guy since his rookie year, I'm done with the if. I'm done with the if. This is gonna be the year where we see Justin Herbert have 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns and like 4 interceptions, and the Chargers be a legit powerhouse in the AFC. And so look at those running back room, look at the tight ends. Maybe they need some help with the wide receiver. We don't know. They just have to play Quentin Johnston, not in the USA, and he'll be fine. But their defense was spectacular last year, and definitely at the end of the season, we knew that their defense was legit because it was the defense that was carrying the Chargers when the offense couldn't score any points. So, very exciting time to be a Chargers fan.
Yeah, so many people are talking about the Chargers regressing. They've got like 86 million in actual spendable cap space to fix a lot of the holes on their roster. And I mean, they're already 11-6. They're gonna get the biggest replenishment on their offensive line from Rashawn Slater coming back from that torn ACL.
Yeah.
They've got their first round pick in a not deep interior offensive line draft per se in the first half of the round, but like in the bottom like 100 back part of the draft, there's a lot of quality guards that are available. Tyler Linderbaum's going to be a free agent. You don't think that the Chargers would be willing to throw a bag at him?
Pursue him, yeah.
I see it as this is the chart. It's like you said, this is not the year of if man Herbert's going to arrive, because outside of all of that, look at their division. The Raiders have the number 1 overall pick for a reason. They still haven't hired their head coach. The Chiefs, we don't know what the hell they're going to be. And then me and you have been saying this all year. We might be 2 years early. The Broncos are due for a regression.
Yeah, I mean they were 12-1 after the AFC Championship game. They became 12-1 in one-score games. Looking, I don't have to look at the roster, but just looking through history, when you hear stats like that, and we'll go back to last year with the Kansas City Chiefs. All right,
the Vikings last year too.
Yeah, you're just gonna see regression. I believe the Commanders were something close to that too in one-score games last year too. They had a lot of injuries, but you're just due for regression. So the Broncos are not gonna come out. They're not going to finish, like a 12-5. I think they're still a good team. Their offensive line, I know we're talking about the Chargers, but offensive line and defense is fantastic. They got some problems with, I think, weapons in the quarterback spot. So like a 9-8, there's going to be regression, Mason. And so, if we're talking about the AFC West, that division, I believe what you're going to say was that the Chargers are primed to take advantage of this lonely, kind of stinky AFC West.
Absolutely, because we're going to be maybe the show or the sports media personalities out there that are going to sit there and tell you that the sky is not falling for the Chargers. It's actually their ceiling's never been higher. So we'll leave it at that. Y'all drop your take below. We want to hear from you. You let us know what you think about the Chargers offseason, where they're going, the hiring of Mike McDaniel. But, Liam, I think that kind of wraps up the coaching carousel, crap show, soap opera drama going around the league right now. Because, I mean, it's been, for the week off before Super Bowl week, it's been a kind of wild one for the NFL.
It has been busy, super busy. I mean, we didn't even talk about any of the defense coordinators that were hired. We didn't talk about some of the recent firings that have happened maybe since we started this episode, like Lombardi, the offense coordinator for the Broncos, being fired after finishing 14th in points per game. But Mason, if you got time real quick, let's do some rapid fire, see what happens with who you think is going to be maybe a head coach or offensive coordinator.
Let's see what the crystal ball is forming, because if y'all follow us on Twitter, our predictions have been money. We have been on the ball predicting the moves that are happening. So I would love a little crystal ball session to end the show.
Hey, you've been the one on fire recently. I think the ones we've gotten wrong was the Bills not hiring Brian Daboll, and then what was the other one?
The Titans. I thought it was Matt Nagy's season, and they came to their senses and hired Robert Saleh.
Yeah,
So
I think that protest that happened outside the new stadium against Matt Nagy worked. But hey, let's stick on the AFC West. We're talking about one of these teams. They have the number one overall draft pick, the Las Vegas Raiders. Who are they choosing to be their head coach and maybe offensive coordinator? Do you have that?
yeah, so I mean they interviewed Daboll twice for a reason. Their interview schedule has been kind of light, and it's because when that happens, they know who the head coach is going to be that they're hiring, and it's going to be Clint Kubiak for the Seattle Seahawks. He is going to be the head coach and play caller for the Raiders. He's going to be tabbed as the next head coach to lead the Raiders into this next era with Fernando Mendoza, the likely number one overall pick. And why this is going to work is then they're going to, I think, retain Patrick Graham as their DC. Because Patrick Graham, he's been a top 15, borderline top 10 DC in the league for about 5 years now. He lasted through the Josh McDaniel, Antonio Pierce, Pete Carroll eras as the DC for the Raiders. And he's had a plethora of options to go be a DC somewhere else with all these high-profile DC openings. And so I think that's the tandem. I think it's Clint Kubiak with Patrick Graham as the DC.
That sounds like a great hire. I saw a great breakdown by Darius Butler today on Clint Kubiak and just his offense just shredding defenses with those wide receivers and the pre-snap motion. And then just recently JSN coming out of the backfield. He's just unlocking it, and the Super Bowl is going to be super fun to watch. So I think that'd be a great hire. And then the Raiders have a good foundation to really start a new Mason, but moving it, keeping it going. The Arizona Cardinals, not too hot of a place to land either. With the team, even it being in Phoenix, it's not really attracting a whole lot of people. Who's going to be the head coach for them?
Yeah, so I mean, for the underdog candidate was actually Anthony Campanelli, the DC for the Jags, but he pulled himself out of consideration, and so it comes down to two individuals again. I hate not. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna change my prediction for what I made on Twitter. I think Mike LaFleur, the OC for the Rams, is going to end up being the head coach for the Arizona Cardinals because they aren't going to do a defensive head coach again. Every time they make a head coaching hire, they do the opposite way. But don't be surprised if Vance Joseph ends up being the head coach. It's between those two, I think.
Interesting picks, but I mean, you put the defining candidate on who you think it's going to be, which is good. We're not trying to be like some other networks where they say I'm between three people. Yeah, stay with your gut, man.
Yeah.
Nice. And we'll see this happen in 2 weeks by then. So interesting to go back on this episode then and see what you're saying.
Y'all be able to hold me to these takes. Y'all see us on Twitter. Y'all have us on Instagram. You have us on TikTok. There's a social media out there in the sports world. We're probably on it. Hold me to it when all this stuff comes out for our next episode when we, are previewing the Super Bowl. Keep us accountable because that's what makes this show great. It's what we love about this is that we get to put our takes out there and we get to hear the dialogue of the sports community around the NFL and we get to see, whether or not we actually know what the hell we're talking about. So I enjoyed this, Liam. I think this has been awesome.
That was a great episode. And hey, if you like this one, we know that a lot of people liked the Big SCOOB, our episode with Daniel, and we're excited. Mason, I'm going to announce it, but we're excited that he's going to be joining us when this episode airs next week. He'll be joining us for a Seattle Seahawks breakdown before the Super Bowl, so be sure to catch that.
Super pumped to bring on Daniel, the Big SCOOB Rice, back onto the show because he was the inaugural franchise watchdog. For all of y'all that have been following us since the start, we wanted 32 Super NFL fans that were going to be the watchdog for their team in the field. We didn't get all 32, but one of them was for the Seattle Seahawks, and now his team's in the Super Bowl, and you can go check out his first video, and you can see a lot of the predictions he made about his team have come true, and we're real excited to have him back on.
Hey, Dan was a watchdog and his team made the Super Bowl?
Come on.
Might be something here with, watchdogs, so... be sure to check that episode out and, maybe sign up to be a watchdog. So appreciate you.
Absolutely, and we appreciate y'all riding with us with this episode of the War Room and the Sideline Journal, and we'll catch you next week when it's finally Super Bowl Sunday, baby. Peace out. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the War Room podcast presented by the Sideline Journal. If you haven't yet, consider checking out the full catalog season of the War Room throughout our inaugural season of the show. And go ahead and like and subscribe to all the things you know you're going to do, and stick with the War Room because we're coming back hot next week. Appreciate it, guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.